Hello, I'm Emily, and welcome back to the Hey English podcast. This is day 6 of our 30-day English learning challenge. And today, we're diving into one of the most practical and useful topics in daily life, asking for directions in English. Now, think about this for a second. Have you ever traveled to a new city, maybe even a new country, and suddenly felt lost? Maybe you looked at the street signs but couldn't understand them, or you tried using a map but it was confusing. At that moment, the only solution was to ask someone for help. And here's the truth. If you can confidently ask for directions in English, you'll feel safe, connected, and free to explore the world. But if you can't, you might feel nervous, stuck, or even embarrassed. So let me ask you, what if asking just one simple question in English could open up the whole city for you? That's exactly what today's episode is about. By the end of this lesson, you'll not only know how to ask for directions politely and clearly, but you'll also practice real-life conversations that you can use anywhere, whether you're in New York, London, or even talking to tourists in your own city. So get ready, because today's practice might just change the way you travel and connect with people forever. Earth emoji sparkles. So, let's talk about today's challenge, asking for directions in English. Why is this important? Because directions are not just about finding a place. They're about communication and connection. When you ask someone for directions, you are doing 3 powerful things at once. 1, starting a conversation with a stranger. This can feel scary at first, but it's also exciting because you're using English in the real world. 2, building practical survival skills. Whether you're traveling, living abroad, or meeting tourists in your city, knowing how to ask for directions makes life so much easier. 3, practicing polite and confident English. Asking for directions isn't only about the words, it's about tone, respect, and confidence. Think of it this way. Imagine you're in London and you want to visit Big Ben. You could open Google Maps, yes, but maybe your phone battery is dead, or maybe the map looks confusing. At that moment, your only tool is your voice, and with just one polite question, you can find your way. In today's challenge, we will learn the most useful phrases for asking directions, discover different ways to answer politely if someone asks you for directions, and practice short, natural dialogues so you don't just memorize words, you actually feel how they sound in real life. So take a deep breath. This is not about being perfect. It's about being practical. It's about learning English you can use the very next time you step outside your home.
Let me share a story with you. A few years ago, I met a student named Amina. She was traveling to Canada for the first time. On her second day there, she wanted to visit a popular shopping mall. She took the bus, but when she got off, she realized she had no idea where she was. The signs were in English, people were rushing around, and she felt nervous. She wanted to ask someone, but in her mind, questions started racing. What if they don't understand me? What if I make a grammar mistake? What if I sound rude? So what happened? She didn't ask anyone. Instead, she walked for almost an hour in the wrong direction, getting more and more tired. Finally, when she was too exhausted, she gathered courage and asked a kind woman, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the shopping mall is?" And guess what? The woman smiled and gave her clear directions. The whole exchange took less than 1 minute. 1 minute! Amina laughed later and said, "If I had just asked earlier, I would have saved 1 hour of walking." This story shows us something very real. The biggest struggle for English learners is not the words, the fear of speaking. Many of us already know phrases like, "Excuse me, where is?" But in real life, fear freezes us. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever been in a situation where you knew the English, but you just couldn't say it? That's why today's challenge is so powerful, because when you practice asking for directions in English, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're breaking fear, building courage, and gaining freedom.
Now that we've heard Amina's story, let's talk about the barriers that stop so many English learners from asking for directions. These barriers are not only about language, they are about emotions and mindset. 1. Fear of mistakes. Most learners worry, what if I say the sentence wrong? Or what if my grammar is bad? But let me tell you the truth. When you ask for directions, people don't care about grammar. They care about understanding you. Even if you say, "Excuse me, mall, where?" they will probably still help you. Perfection is not the goal. Communication is. 2. Fear of judgment. Some learners think, people will laugh at my accent. But have you ever laughed at someone who asked you for directions in your own language? Probably not. Most people actually feel happy to help. In fact, they might admire your courage for speaking English. 3. Overthinking politeness. Another barrier is confusion about how polite to be. Learners ask, should I say please? Should I use could you or can you? Am I being rude? Here's the simple rule. A smile and excuse me always work. Politeness is more about tone than grammar. 4. Not practicing out loud. The final barrier is practice. Many learners only read English phrases in books. They don't say them out loud. So when the real situation comes, the words feel stuck. It's like knowing how to swim in theory, but never jumping in the water. But here's the good news. Every barrier can be broken. Fear of mistakes? Try shadowing and repetition. Fear of judgment? Remember, people want to help you. Overthinking politeness? Just add excuse me and a smile. No practice? That's exactly what this podcast is for. So today, instead of worrying about mistakes, let's focus on small, simple steps, because asking for directions is not about being perfect. The first solution to asking for directions confidently is simple. Learn and practice a magic starter phrase. That phrase is, "Excuse me, could you tell me?" Why is this powerful? Because it's polite,
you start with excuse me, which shows respect. Clear, could you tell me, is easy to understand. Flexible, you can use it with almost any place: a bank, a bus stop, a train station, a restaurant, or a shop. For example, excuse me, could you tell me where the train station is? Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the nearest bank? Excuse me, could you tell me where the supermarket is? Now, here's the trick. Don't just memorize this phrase, repeat it out loud. Right now, wherever you are, say it with me. Excuse me, could you tell me? How did it feel? Notice how natural it sounds? The more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. Here's a small exercise for you. Pick 3 places in your city, maybe the post office, a park, and a hospital. Practice asking, excuse me, could you tell me where the post office is? Excuse me, could you tell me where the park is? Excuse me, could you tell me where the hospital is? See? With one magic phrase, you can travel anywhere. Remember, you don't need complicated grammar. You only need confidence and clarity. And this starter phrase gives you both.
Sometimes, when you're nervous or shy, long sentences feel difficult, and that's okay. You don't always need a long, polite sentence. You can ask for directions with short, simple questions that still work perfectly. For example, where is the bus stop? Which way to the station? How do I get to the park? Is this the road to the hospital? See how short these are? They are easy to remember, easy to say, and very clear. Now, here's the important part. Even short questions can sound polite if you add a smile or the word please. Where is the supermarket, please? Which way to the airport, please? Now let's practice together. Repeat after me, nice and clear. Where is the bus stop? Which way to the station? How do I get to the park? Is this the road to the hospital? Good. These short questions are like your safety net. Whenever you feel too shy to speak a long sentence, you can use these simple versions and people will still understand you. Here's a little secret. Many native speakers use short questions too. They might just say, "Hey, is this the right way to the museum?" Short, casual, and easy. So don't worry about always sounding formal. As long as you are clear and respectful, your English is good enough. Asking the question is only half of the challenge. The other half, and sometimes the harder part, is understanding the answer. Here's the truth. When you ask someone for directions, they might answer quickly, use local words, or even point with their hands. If you're not prepared, you might feel confused. So, what can we do? Let's train your ears to recognize the most common direction words. Key phrases you'll often hear. Go straight means keep walking in the same direction. Turn left or turn right means change direction at the corner. Next to means beside something. Across from means opposite side of the street
Near means close by, not far. At the end of the street means when the road finishes. Example answers you might hear: go straight and then turn left. The bank is across from the post office. It's near the bus stop, next to the pharmacy. Here's a quick listening game for you. I'll say an answer and you imagine it in your head. Ready? 1. Go straight, then turn right at the traffic light. Did you picture yourself walking straight, then turning right? 2. The museum is across from the park. Did you imagine a park and the museum on the other side of the street? 3. It's next to the supermarket. Did you imagine two buildings side by side? Good. This is how you train your ears and your mind, by practicing small sentences and visualizing them. Pro tip: when you ask for directions in real life and don't understand the answer, don't panic. Just politely ask, "Sorry, could you say that again, please?" Or, "Could you speak more slowly, please?" Most people will be happy to repeat. Remember, the goal is not to understand every single word, but to catch the main direction words, like left, right, straight, next to.
Now that you know how to ask and how to listen, let's talk about the final solution: practice through role play and daily routines. Why role play? Because real life doesn't give you a script. You need to prepare your brain to respond naturally, not just memorize. Here's how you can do it. Step 1. Practice at home. Stand in your room. Pretend you're in a city you don't know. Imagine you need to find the bus station. Look around, then ask out loud, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the bus station is?" Then change your voice and answer as if you are the other person. Go straight and turn left at the corner. It may feel silly at first, but trust me, it works. You're training your brain and your tongue at the same time. Step 2. Practice with a friend. If you have a friend who is also learning English, play a directions game. One of you asks and the other gives directions. For example, "Excuse me, where's the park?" "It's next to the library." Switch roles and keep going. Make it fun. Step 3. Use real-life opportunities. If you live in a city where tourists visit, you'll often hear them ask for directions. Why not practice giving directions to them? Or if you travel abroad, make it a small challenge. At least once a day, ask someone for directions, even if you already know the way. Because here's the truth: the more you practice in safe, small situations, the more natural it will feel when you really need it. Bonus idea: even when you're walking in your own city, look around and describe directions in English in your head. For example, "The cafe is across from the bank," or "The bus stop is next to the supermarket." This turns your daily routine into a mini English class. So, remember, role play, friends, and daily habits.
That's how you make asking for directions not just a lesson, but a skill you own for life.
Now, let's face it, mistakes will happen. And that's okay. Mistakes are not the end of your learning. They are the bridge to better English. But I want to prepare you by sharing the most common mistakes English learners make when asking for directions and how you can overcome them. 1. Using wrong prepositions. Many learners confuse in, on, at, to, next to, across from. For example, the park is in the bank. Wrong. The park is next to the bank. Correct. Solution. Focus on learning location prepositions. Next to, across from, near, at the corner. Practice them daily in short sentences. 2. Forgetting politeness. Sometimes learners just say, "Where station?" While people might understand, it can sound a little rude. Solution: always start with "excuse me" or add "please." Small words, big difference. 3. Speaking too quietly. Fear makes many learners whisper, but if people can't hear you, they can't help you. Solution: practice speaking your question in a clear, confident voice, even if your grammar isn't perfect. Clarity is more important than accuracy. 4. Not understanding the answer. This is the biggest challenge. Sometimes the person speaks too fast or uses unfamiliar words. Solution: don't pretend to understand. Instead, ask again politely. "Sorry, could you repeat that? Could you say it slowly, please?" Remember, it's normal to ask twice or even 3 times. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart. 5. Panicking under pressure. When you're lost, your heart beats fast and your brain goes blank. Solution: breathe, smile, and use one simple phrase you've practiced. Even if you forget everything else, say, "Excuse me, could you tell me where is?" Here's the golden rule. Confidence greater than grammar. People forgive small grammar mistakes, but they can't help you if they can't hear you or if you're too afraid to speak. So instead of worrying about being perfect, focus on being brave, clear, and polite. Now it's time to put everything together with a real-life conversation. I'll play both roles so you can listen and shadow. Scenario: you are in a city and want to find the nearest cafe. "Excuse me, could you tell me where the nearest cafe is?" "Sure. Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The cafe is next to the bookstore." "Thank you so much." "You're welcome. Have a nice day." Scenario 2. Asking for a bus station. "Hi, excuse me. Could you tell me how to get to the bus station?" "Yes. Walk straight and turn right at the traffic light. You'll see the station on your left." "Thank you. I really appreciate it." "No problem." Tips for shadowing. 1. Listen first, then repeat each line aloud. 2. Focus on pronunciation and intonation. Try to sound natural. 3. Pause and imagine yourself in the scenario. Pretend you're really asking someone. 4.
Repeat until you feel comfortable saying it without thinking. Target. Shadowing is powerful because it trains your ears, mouth, and brain together. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel in real situations.
In today's episode about asking for directions, there are several words and phrases that are extremely useful for beginners. Let's go through 7 key terms and how to use them. 1. Excuse me. A polite way to start a conversation. Example, excuse me? Could you help me? Tip, always use this when talking to strangers. 2. Could you tell me? A polite phrase to ask for information. Example, could you tell me where the library is? 3. Turn left. Turn right. Directions to change your path. Example, go straight and turn left at the corner. 4. Go straight. Keep moving in the same direction. Example, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn right. 5. Next to. Something located beside another object. Example, the cafe is next to the bookstore. 6. Across from. Something located on the opposite side. Example, the park is across from the post office. 7. Near. Something close by. Example, the bus station is near the supermarket. Quick practice! Try making 3 sentences using these words. For example, excuse me, could you tell me where the park is? The bank is next to the cafe. The museum is across from the library. These phrases will make you confident and clear when asking for directions anywhere in the world.
Congratulations! You've completed day 6, asking for directions in our 30-day English challenge. Let's quickly review what we learned today. 1. Magic starter phrase. Excuse me, could you tell me? 2. Short and direct questions. Perfect when you feel nervous. 3. Listening carefully. Focus on words like left, right, straight, next to, across from. 4. Role play and practice daily. Turn real-life situations into learning opportunities. 5. Common mistakes and doubts. Don't worry about grammar. Focus on clarity and confidence. And 6. Essential vocabulary. Words and phrases that help you ask and understand directions clearly. Remember this. Asking for directions is not about being perfect. It's about being brave, polite, and clear. Every time you try, you're improving your English and your confidence. Here's your challenge for today. Go somewhere new, even a small place, and ask for directions in English, even if you already know the way. Practice shadowing the phrases we used in this episode. And don't forget, every time you use English, you're building a skill that will stay with you forever. Your confidence grows with each step, each question, and each conversation. If you enjoyed today's lesson, share it with a friend, practice together, and come back for day 7 of our 30-day challenge. That's it for today. See you tomorrow for another exciting English lesson. Keep practicing, stay confident, and never be afraid to ask.